Page has been passing out the funny eggnog again? We got a bunch of animals here tonight. Remember what we said about as you approach Christmas? People start to go bananas for some reason? And you all sound bananas tonight. You haven't shopped yet?
Not yet, no.
You know, I went shopping today. I really
did. You?
True. Economy is in bad shape. Economy is bad.
What happened?
Well, you know, due to the recession, Santa Claus this year had to drop 2 of his hose.
Ooh. And you went shopping for that?
Oh, I went to a bargain basement for that joke. No, Christmas doesn't feel... Whew. 6 minutes to go of this. I hate to start out in a trench. No, Christmas does not feel the same here as it does back in New York.
That's true.
We were in New York for about, 9 years with the show? Yeah. You go into a department store here, there's something unsettling about hearing Bing Crosby recording of I'm Dreaming of a Styrofoam Christmas. What happened to the animals I had a moment ago? But they do have somebody I want to tell you seriously. As Bob would say.
Yes.
They have some terrific toys. I wish I had little kids this year. You know, little babies, because they have some great toys. What are some of them? Well, I'll tell you. They have a new Charo doll.
How does that work?
What?
How does that work?
Well, you wind it up to stop it. And they have a new Dan Rather doll that investigates Betsy Wetsy's water. That's out this season.
Do you think it might be too early for Christmas jokes?
I did Christmas jokes last night, and they were a smash.
That's what I mean. It might be just too early.
Anyway, I'll get out. See, if I had funny clothes like that, I'd dynamite. But it's time for our annual Christmas staff party.
Now.
No, last year we had a Christmas staff party here for the Tonight Show every year, and boy, it was great last year. All the stockings were hung with great care, and the rest of the clothes were all over the room. Oh, I see. That's what it got a little out of hand last year. Now, don't do it this year. No. You know, you had too many of the eggnogs, and he woke up in a motel with his arm around a Scotch pine. How you checked in with that, I'll never know. I got my NBC present from the executives already. Beautiful. I got my own can of Baraxo for the men's room. That's what I got. What did you get?
Anything in the news?
Yes, there is. Let's get right to it. We'll get off the Christmas theme. How about some remarks about the state of the economy? The president, as you know, made a speech about the economy the other night. And you know what he said? The president said, prices are too high, there are too many unemployed, and the country is in a recession. By George, I think he's got it. And he said he's concerned about the 3 devils: inflation, recession, and energy. And you know how he's gonna handle the 3 devils? He's trying to get Congress to approve the Night Stalker. I knew that wasn't gonna go. I don't know why, up in my office, when I read that, when I said that, I kind of liked it, and I said, you know, you have that intuitive thing in the back of your brain that says, don't do that joke, because it probably won't go. But once in a while, you do one for yourself. So far, I've done about 8 for myself. Now I'm going to do one for you. And you, of course, will be the judge of that. Who's in the news again? Mr. Rockefeller. He's already approved as vice president, but according to the men's fashion designers around the country, they say he's a lousy dresser. They want him to change his image. And Bill Blass, who is one of the, I guess, fine men designers in the country, cannot understand how a man who has $600 million looks so shabby. He's rumpled all the time. And you'd look rumpled, too, if you had a suit full of IOUs. Another one for me. We gotta come up with one for you folks, because Fanny Fox is in the news again. Now, this has nothing to do with Congressman Mills. She was arrested in Florida. It was in the paper today. She is performing an act, nightclub act down there, getting $15,000 a week. State of Florida arrested her for indecent exposure. They said she was completely naked during a performance. You see, in Florida, it's against the law to show your tidal basin. In New York City, maybe if I get out of this area, maybe I'm working too local. You know,
You mean in the building or what?
No, I mean... Let's go to New York.
Okay.
Now, New York. Oh, New York's in financial trouble. Did you read that? We have the mayor back there is Abraham Beam. You won't even answer me. You'd see, usually when I'm going great, you will throw little asides back and forth, but when I'm going into the biffy,
You go alone.
You just stand there. It's just me and the tidy bowl, man. You just stand there and look at me. What was I talking
What
about?
happened about New York?
They're having financial trouble, and they laid off 2,000 policemen in the city of New York. Yes, that's true. And the mafia immediately laid off 200 criminals until after the emergency. Let's see. How about some prison news? Great segue. This is in the paper today. It's kind of sad. They just released in Indiana a gentleman who is 89 or 90 years old, who now holds the record for being in prison the longest of anybody in the world. How long do you think he was in prison? This is sad. 66 years. And they let him out today. He went in 1908 for murder. He was supposed to go to the chair, but they didn't use electricity, and they sent him to the steam chair. Didn't kill him, but it took the wrinkle out of his knickers. But he got out today, and to show you how times have changed, the warden gave him a $10 bill, asked him what he was going to do, and he said he's going to buy half a dozen suits. Back in Los Angeles. Back here on the West Coast, the Los Angeles police are having some trouble. Well, they're not really having trouble. I'm having trouble. What it is, they have been storing drugs to be used in evidence in court cases coming up. You may have read this. And some of the stuff is disappearing, and they find that the mice have been eating the marijuana that they have stored there. And they got wise when they discovered mouse holes in the ceiling. Okay, we got a good show for you tonight. What, do you just stand there and look?
No.
Why don't you do something to help me?
Why not tell us who's on the show?
Well, I'm gonna. Bob Hope is here tonight.
Yeah.
Now, how's that? This Christmas, Bob is going to be entertaining our fighting men and women at the supermarket checkout line. Sitting right here. Also, we have Mr. Richard Harris is with us tonight. Very funny man. Steve Landesberg is aboard tonight. And the young lady who plays the daughter on the television show Maude, Adrienne Barbeau,
Yeah.
is here tonight. And we'll be with you.
What a wonderful time for this particular product.
Yeah. And now a message brought to you by Excedrin. We have returned.
'Tis the season to be jolly. I thought I'd reiterate that in case you got a little bit despondent. There's no need to feel...
Also, not a creature is stirring.
Yes, especially here. Yes, especially in this star. No,
I
want
think
you
it's
to feel.
it's that quiet time of year.
Sometimes people are overwrought with anxiety about Christmas. Other things are on their mind, what to get Cousin Grace, and they might be thinking about that when you're hitting one of your blockbusters. It wasn't evident tonight.
Are you
but
Are you trying to bail me out?
No, I was just
saying
trying to
that the
make my notes
monologue was subpar. Is that what you're insinuating?
Well, it was not, let's say, it was not a skyrocket to the moon.
No, that was we should have aborted that, like the astronauts do when the missile doesn't.
When you know it's not going to make
I've
it.
got to have some way to abort quickly and bail out, and so they can pick me up in the
13
ocean out here
seconds, yeah.
somewhere in a dinghy. Let's see. You have anything to?
That's you. A lot of people coming up, important people.
What? Back to me, huh?
No. Everything is fine.
Any anecdotes happened to you the past weekend that the folks might be interested in?
Nothing at
A lot of
all.
funny stories.
Nothing at all has happened.
Nothing happened.
It's been one of the bleakest weeks I can remember. In fact, I was saying to myself,
Maybe
this
some
morning,
amusing anecdotes shopping.
Nothing.
I see.
Shopping. You see, I don't go the last. I had to go early this year because I'm traveling.
Well, tell us about that. That sounds pretty exciting and interesting, and I know our viewers at home.
The folks are having as much fun at home as we are here in the studio. Right? Nothing extraordinary, just a little travel. Nothing.
Traveling, I see. Okay.
Getting in my car, just traveling.
Okay. We
Who's
have
coming up in the days ahead? It might be of interest to our folks. Anything in the world to separate these two commercials.
We don't look as the show that we're just killing time.
We
to
we
two
don't.
commercials.
We don't. Did you ever watch? No, tell us. Look at that list of people. My God.
My God, it's a whole list here.
Yes.
Those are some of the people we're going to have on. No sense in reading them,
No.
but I mean, as long
Or
as
they can see
as
them.
long as they all have a look, I wouldn't type up a list
No.
if we didn't have names typed on them.
A lot of people there.
A lot of names typed there.
Many stars.
Let's get a guest out here.
Be nice.
I feel like a 90-year-old man who just got out today. 66 years in the first 6 minutes. Richard Harris is an exceptional new guest, Shirley? New guest list just came in.
Wait.
New guest
New
list.
guess. What is it?
New guest list? Oh, I thought we had some new additional guests. Richard Harris is an exceptional actor. He is. And recording artist. What's wrong?
No, I was just admiring your tie. I was just looking at that. It's an unusual
Come
tie.
on, who cares? They're not. That's called field talk. That's
What?
small chit chat.
What?
When you say you got a nice tie.
I didn't say you had a nice
You can't
tie.
build
I
a
said I was
show.
looking at
You
your
can't
tie.
build a show out of.
There's a difference between saying that's a nice tie and I'm looking at it.
Okay, but
I
that,
haven't made up my mind yet.
people aren't going to stay. The idea, you see, the idea we're here and we do this is so people at home will be entertained.
Yes.
People are going to get awful wise when you say that's a nice tie.
We've gotten away with it for 12 years.
There's one long eyebrow that bothers me that's hanging down.
Oh, don't pull it.
No,
Pull
you
it.
noticed.
No.
Come here, you
Well,
got
just put
one.
it lie. Don't pull it.
Why? You should take that out.
No. Just pull it.
No, you have one. Well, it bothers me. You ever
Scissors.
watch somebody and what? Well, that's right. Last time you got a bloody nose.
That's
when I
right,
did
so
that.
don't hurt me.
You can't,
I'll line it up.
can't you see that?
What?
Can't you see that hanging down in front of you?
Occasionally, yes.
It's got to look like a big rope that close. You're a big long one.
I
There.
have long eyebrows. I can't.
Sure, easy for you. You got yours in the can for the whole season. Comes in and watches us die now. Well, we're going to be right
Whatever
back.
became of Richard Harris?
What?
Whatever became of Richard Harris you were speaking of?
Well, what? Fred, we just did a great monologue and a commercial.
Tonight?
What?
Tonight?
No, not tonight. Well, we've done that before. Don't you think that Richard... What? Seems a long time ago. That's our own producer doing that. I don't want to do the commercial. I don't want to bring Richard Harris out, and I don't...
What do you want to do?
We'll go home.
Let's look through this. Let's look through this book.
I'm going to play with my arrow.
You play with the arrow, I'll look through the book.
That's Bob's new book, isn't it?
Oh, look at these pictures. Aren't they nice?
Hey, let's read Bob's book. Here we are in Korea. Funny stuff in this book, but Bob will tell it, of course, hysterically when he comes out. Good night for Bob.
That's Richard Harris' new album there.
This is
Prophet.
yes, How do you pronounce this? Khalil?
Khalil.
Khalil Gibran.
Khalil Gibran.
Which is What the Prophet he wrote, and Richard Harris has...
Great stuff.
He started with this classic and done a musical interpretation of this book, and he's going to do...
Great. That must be great.
It's superb.
Yes. Which is another...
Didn't I just say it was great?
Yeah. I was just reiterating it, that's all.
So that we can keep Mr. Harris's... so we don't have to interrupt him so much when he just gets out here. Maybe we should do this commercial first.
That'd be a good idea.
Then he will come out, you see. Otherwise, he would just come out and then we'd have to do this and it would hurt. It is. You know, I have a feeling someday that I'm going to go right from this desk to the motion picture country home in Woodland Hills. They're not even going to, just right from here.
And as you're leaving,
right
you'll
up
say,
Ventura.
But first, ladies and gentlemen.
But first, I'll be right back. And we will be right after this message of interest. Richard Harris will be here, and Bob Hope is here, and Adrienne Barbeau is here. And welcome one of our favorite madmen, Mr. Richard Harris. Good to see you.
You too.
Thank you.
You sound great. You're in good form, huh?
Well, we're in some kind of form.
We got some kind of show then.
Yeah, we'll get rolling. We'll get rolling.
You have been rolling. It's great.
Yeah. You look very... You been outdoors in the sun or what?
Makeup.
Oh.
Number 5.
Well, but you look very healthy and so forth.
I feel great.
Are you off... the last time you were here, you talked about no more cigarettes and you weren't drinking anymore, or...
Well, I'm off the booze. I got a telegram from my liver.
Really?
He said, help.
So you decided to...
No, I didn't actually. I'm off the booze.
Right.
But smoking, I got acupuncture. How can you believe? I promise you, I got acupuncture for smoking. I was smoking 100 cigarettes a day.
That's so 5 packs a day?
Yeah. Yeah, and I went to... and they said this acupuncture works. So I went to acupuncture because a friend of mine had it done. So I went there and they said, you want to go off? I said, yeah. So he said, take your clothes off. So I said, I came for acupuncture. So I took my clothes off and laid down on this bench, and then he got needles and he looked at put my legs out like that, and he felt my ankles and he stuck a needle there, and the needle there, and a needle there, needle there, and then my knees, a needle there, needle there, a needle there, needle there. And then he put a needle there, and a needle there. And I looked at him and I said, nothing wrong with that. Move on up. Move him out. Right here. And then, this is true, honest to God, I promise it's true. And then they finally put little staples in my ears. I'm deaf, but I've cut down from 100 to about 20 a day now.
Well, that's very much...
Yeah, really.
Did it really...
They're in there now. Yeah.
Well, I've heard about this. Now, this is a fad of alcohol called staple puncture that they're using for people on diets.
That's right, yeah.
That they say is supposed to keep down the desire.
Yeah, it does. You're supposed to, it's attached to a nerve that goes to your stomach for anxiety, and as soon as you feel you want to smoke a cigarette, you press...
Staple your lips together.
Yeah, right. If that doesn't work, then you just set fire to your ear.
How many times did you have acupuncture? Just the one time?
Yeah, just the one. I got to go back because I went a little over the 20. I went 26 the other day, so I'm going to go back again.
Now, do you think it's more psychological, or do you think physiologically they did something to you that really cut the desire?
They did, yeah. There's no doubt that the anxiety is kind of diminished a little.
Yeah.
No, a lot.
Well, that's great.
Poor little Annie, the new wife, the bride.
How is Annie, anyway?
She's beautiful.
Yeah, I know she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's terrific. Yeah. Really great. She's a saint. She's marvelous. Poor thing, I think of it. Well, because the first day or two, she's saying to me, you've got to stop smoking. Please, 100 a day, stop smoking. So then the couple of days I was off, I sort of walk around the house when the urge was too strong for me, and I sort of, get out of my way! Move! And I screamed at her. And the next morning, I woke up, and I had a cigarette in my mouth, and she lit it. And she said, better you die 5 years early than put me through that again.
Yeah, that's the problem. But you don't have those,
No. You get them now and then, but I'm okay. I
great.
run around the block.
How long have you been married to this saint now? I remember when you first came here.
They'll canonize Annie.
Yes.
I think she'd be the Pope. Oh, she can't. She's Jewish. How about Harris for Pope? Wouldn't that be nice?
You like that, yeah?
Yeah, Harris for Pope.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? Instant sin, instant sex. Total absolution. In a bed, roll out of bed, forgiven.
I have a feeling that's probably not going to catch on in a big way. Privately, you may have a lot of people that agree with you.
Yeah.
You like this time of year? Do you like the holidays?
I like Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm sentimental about Christmas. I really love Christmas.
Do you go out yourself and shop?
Oh, yeah. I got a lot of friends, a lot of relatives, a lot of brothers, 3 sons. I'm glad that my sons discovered there's no Santa Claus. I'm glad they didn't discover it the way I discovered it. I discovered it in probably the most extraordinary way that you could discover there was no Santa Claus, because I believed it for so long. And it was my dad, who was very tall, and he always played Santa Claus. Always. He was always missing. We always said, Mom, why is Dad not here for Christmas? Well, he doesn't get on with Santa Claus. Mom used to say, I said, oh.
That's what they would do so he could play Santa
Yes,
Claus.
he played, and I believed, honest to God, I believed it. I swear. It's true, honestly.
Right.
And I believed it for so long. And then, around holidays, my dad used to drink, right? And you know that there were so many boys in the family, all younger than me, 1 or 2 older, girls in the family. But you know, you get a hug from your dad, get a little hug from your dad. And the one thing I always remembered that was distinctly his own and belonged to nobody else was the smell of whiskey off his breath. Yeah, really, this is most extraordinary. And then came the final Christmas, when I was about 6. And he came in with the bag and all the red and the white beard. And then he gave us out the presents. And then he handed me my prize. I said, thank you, Santa Claus. And he put his hands around me and he kissed me. And I said, that's my dad's special smell. And that's when I twigged. The most ridiculous reason of the word twig, that's when I twigged. My dad was Santa Claus.
Yeah.
The smell of whiskey off his breath.
Boy, that's kind of sad.
Yeah?
Santa comes with a bag in the bag. Find it out all at once.
Oh, dear.
We'll take a short break here. Vic Chemical Company and be right back. Stay with us. Tell us a little bit why you decided to do the album. The Prophet has been a popular book for many, many years. It's been out, and every year it seems to take on a little more meaning for people, and is a bestseller, I guess, year after year after year.
Yeah.
And was this an idea you had in the back of your mind for a while to do?
Well, it's the 3rd time I've been asked to do it. And the other 2 times I was asked to do it, the rights of the company didn't have the rights to do it. They were very involved. It took the man, actually, who put this together 8 years to actually unravel the rights in Lebanon. Because Gibran, when he died, or before he died, he bequeathed the rights of all his works to the village he was born in. And so to unravel them, it was so difficult. But it took 8 years to put it together, and it took us 4 months to record it, plus $300,000. I think it's the richest album ever made.
That's fantastic.
And the most expensive album ever made.
When's the first time you read The Prophet? Do you remember?
Oh God, years.
Most
and
people
years ago.
do. The first time they pick it up, it makes such an impression on
Yeah,
them.
it
If
does.
you read the whole thing completely through.
Yeah, I remember I got, when I was out on concert tours, you know, fans give you gifts after the show and that. And I think 80% of the gifts that I got were actually The Prophet. So I've been sort of close to it in that respect.
It's an interesting concept, putting music behind it and doing it. I remember
Yeah,
that
it's
so
great.
well.
It took, you know, Arif Mardin, who produced it and wrote the music, is really an extraordinary man. He went to Lebanon for 8 weeks to get the background of music, the classical instruments there. The ancient instruments there are still that still exist there.
Yeah, the last time you were here, I think, or the time before, you read something you wrote when you were about 12 years old.
Yeah, I did.
Poetry. Then you did I in the Membership of My
Yeah,
Days,
my
right?
Days, yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you know Dylan Thomas at all?
I didn't. I'd love to. I'd love to. I'd love to have known. I think he's the greatest, you know, I studied poetry, and I love it. But Dylan is probably the greatest lyric poet of all time. And he was also an extraordinarily funny man. Wild, crazy, bizarre, Rabelaisian man.
Yeah.
Altogether. I remember, I tell you,
Well, so are you in a way. Are you not?
Yes.
I'll tell you a funny story. This is a true story about Dylan Thomas. When he was in Wales, a little village called Larne. This is a true story. It's marvelous. And he was having an affair with a woman in the village. And the husband was away somewhere at war, something ridiculous like that. So anyway, when the husband came back, Dylan was in the house. And Dylan had intended to stay in the house and carry on the relationship. But the man went berserk. And he attacked Dylan and tried to kill Dylan. And Dylan was taken to court. The man was taken to court, arrested for attempted murder on Dylan Thomas. So in the court case, Dylan was on the witness stand. And the judge said to Dylan, well, can you tell us, Mr. Thomas, precisely what happened when the husband came in? And Dylan said, well, I was there on the couch, he said, with his wife, and he broke in the door with a gun. And I wrestled with him, and I took the gun off him. And the judge said, yes, and what happened then? And then he said he proceeded to pull a hand grenade from his pocket. And he said, give me back the gun. And the judge said, and what did you do? I gave him back the gun. He said, better to die of a single shot than being blown to smithereens.
That's a great line.
Extraordinary.
I asked you during the break where you're going to spend the holidays. You said you're going to go back to the East Coast?
Yeah,
New York?
I'll go to New York to Annie's parents for a couple of days, and then my kids come, we go to the Bahamas.
Yeah. Did you ever work at all with Bob? You were Hope?
I'll never forget it. I know he's coming on now. I'll never forget as long as I live. You know, when you live in Ireland, you hear of the Academy Awards and these actors you adore and all so forth. I never dreamt as a child that one day I'd actually meet them all and work indeed with some people like Jimmy Cagney, who I played Jimmy Cagney when I was 6. I bags to be Jimmy Cagney today in our games, you know, and Gary Cooper and people like that. And Bob Hope was always a great favorite of mine, Bob Hope. And suddenly I'm invited, after Sporting Life, to present at the Academy Awards. And I thought, my God, I've made it. Harris has made it. Wouldn't my mother be proud of me? So I get dressed up and I hire the suit. And suddenly I'm told I'm on next. And Bob Hope is there, being brilliantly funny. And I can see him there. And God, look, he's marvelous. I just walk. I hope I get to shake his hand. And suddenly he said, now he said to present the awards for so-and-so and so-and-so. We have Mr. Richard Harris from Sporting Life. And I walked on as he was walking off. And we're walking past like that. And as he just got to pass me, Bob Hope said, your flies are open. And I stopped in front of 100 million people and did this. Ruined.
Of course, they hadn't heard him at all.
No, they hadn't heard him. That's
Just
right.
you heard
That's
him.
right, Johnny's right. They hadn't heard him say your flies are open. But they saw me stop at the center of the stage and do that.
Real high-class actor from Ireland. Yeah. That's
There
funny.
goes Harris boasting again.
That's... Who else did you idolize when you were a kid? Cagney?
Oh, Cagney
Yeah.
and Bogart and all of that. I worked with Cagney first, and I worked with Gary Cooper and those. They were all my heroes.
Yeah.
It was really extraordinary.
Everybody as kids ran around and impersonated Cagney and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Bogart and all
Yeah.
those people. Didn't you do Brando last time you were here?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was funny, I remember.
I do.
See you doing Julius Caesar. You want me to do this first? And Mr. Bob Hope will join us right after this brief pause. It's always kind of nice when Bob Hope comes to Los Angeles for one of his recent stopovers, because we usually get him on the show. He moves more than anybody in show business. You think you travel? Bob will be at the Pan American Arena in Las Cruces, New Mexico for a scholarship benefit. And this Sunday, December the 15th, his Christmas special will be on NBC at 9 following Bing Crosby. And in between jobs, he's managed to get a book published called The Last Christmas Show. Would you welcome Mr. Bob Hope?
What do you want, sugar?
I don't really what it is that
You know, you have all my sponsors there.
That audience is so nice. They're still applauding my monologue when you walked out. Sensational.
It's
How
funny, you're so loyal. You're wearing your Christmas tie already, huh?
That's right. Got
Isn't
my,
that nice?
my tie for the network.
Very beautiful.
You look very sharp tonight.
I'd never said a thing like that to you. And I wouldn't say you're... How many flies do you have? No, I was listening with your wife back there. You know, she's so amazed. She didn't know that. She said she prepares your clothes and you only have one.
I'm not going to pass any remark on that.
I want
You know,
to
it actually happened to me at a command performance. I don't know whether I told you
Did
this,
you
but
do
I was
that?
at a command performance with Laurence Olivier and the British Stars in 1947 at the Odeon Theater in Leicester Square. And after the show, we went downstairs into the lounge waiting for the King and Queen, the late King and Queen. And we're standing there and saying, how did we do, at the show and everything. And I got tails on. And there's Robert Montgomery, Loretta Young, Alexa Smith, Craig Stevens, and all the British stars at the other side. And all at once they said, here they are. So we all straighten up like this, We're all straight. And Olivier's right across from me, and he went. And the King and Queen are right here.
For a moment, I thought that was part
Murder.
of. I thought that was protocol. Maybe you. Who knows? I've never met the King and Queen.
I wouldn't want to get those kind of laughs. There was a leader in Flushing at the RKO house that was a stock thing with him. You know how the first show.
Right.
And when I was there, I was showing my act, and this cat used to do it to everybody. You'd get out there and you'd say, "Hey, a funny thing happened to me," and he'd go, "Shh." Break up your routine and walk back and go.
And everything was cool. Just everybody.
And start from there,
Yeah. Have you traveled more this year than last year?
I really have. Oh, I got a
constantly.
line for you.
Yeah.
I was in Hays, Kansas. You know where that is?
Well,
Hays, Kansas is where the University of Kansas has a branch. It's like Santa Barbara here for you.
Right.
University of Kansas. I rehearsed the show, and I said, where's the best place to eat? And the guy said, Dave's Steakhouse. So I went down there, and it was one of those restaurants when you're in there, man, you're wide open. There's no booths or anything, and you're sitting right, and you're a target, Somebody didn't like the show, they could stab you right there, and, who would talk in Hays. But finally, after signing a few autographs, the waitress, I was just about to leave, she said, you have to say hello to the cook. And I said, I only play the big room. She said, no. But you have to, because he owns the place. That's Dave. So on the way out, I opened the door. I said, hey, goodbye, y'all. And he rushed up to me with an apron on and a T-shirt, with a menu on it and the whole thing. And he said, hey, when you get back to Johnny Carson's show, you tell him it's so windy here in Hays, Kansas, that we have white caps in the toilet.
never thought I'd hear the day when Dave would be the hit of the show. Do a monologue out here, nothing. Dave from the steakhouse.
I went to the auditorium, and that was a pretty big laugh, and even in Hays, Kansas.
Dave.
No, it was great.
Dave must have writers in the back room there hiding.
Things you hear. You get that? You get that they throw jokes at you every place?
Yeah.
They do at me, Down in Texas, they get the Aggies, which is
Right.
really the of Texas, the Aggies. One guy said, you know how the Aggies would have handled Watergate? I said, no. He said, the same way.
Okay, you and Earl Butts are going to do it again, huh?
Isn't he beautiful, Earl Butts?
Yeah.
They're fitting him for a lightning rod now. Earl the Pearl. You know, the Earl knew he was in trouble when they summoned him to the White House and he saw black smoke coming out of the chimney. That's what I tell you.
He managed.
He used to be Secretary of Agriculture. Now he's a pillar of salt. But we don't mind that, do we? All right.
How about the book here? The Last Christmas Show. Is it?
Do you have a book, too?
Yeah.
What is this, book night?
This is not just about the last Christmas show you did overseas, but this is the whole story of about the last 30 years, isn't it, of entertaining servicemen all over the world. Should be fascinating.
Yeah.
The Last Christmas Show. And this will be one of the few years that
Yeah.
you're going to be here in
It's
this country for
five
Christmas.
languages already. And,
Is that
and
right?
and they translated it into English right after I finished it.
I copied a few of the one-liners you use now in the book in 1950.
Oh.
24 years ago. See how they work here.
Would you rather have Ed read it? I heard
This
your
is-
monologue.
But seriously, folks.
But I want to tell you.
But I want to tell you. Bobo, Christmas tour in 1950, talking about Les Brown's band. We had a little trouble with the band. While the medics were giving us shots for the trip, they kept going back for seconds.
1, 2.
2, 3, 4. We had to bring the band back to Tokyo. It was time for their annual bath. Look, folks,
I'm
these are
trying to sell
24.
these
These are
books, you
24. These are 24 years ago.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Did you? How do you manage to remember? Do you ever keep a diary?
Well, Pete Martin, went around and talked to about 40 people, everybody
Right.
that went on the trip, and then he came back to me, and we sat in front of a mic, and he threw all these questions at me, and of course, the thing writes itself, because we have so many notes, and Betty Lanigan and Bill Faith, and all the people who were with us, they remember different incidents, and then we patch it all together. And
Was there any one of the trips that was any more memorable than?
Yeah,
Any
I
of the
think
others?
so. I think the one we did with England and North Africa in '43, because we experienced something that I wasn't looking for, and that was a lot of bombing, where I dove into the ditch ahead of Langford and things like that. Some other heroic adventures, But we were bombed in Bizerti, and we were bombed in Palermo, and it's in the book. I tried to get under the bed. I didn't know whether to get to between the spring or the mattress, or because they were bombing, Daddy, and I was just laying there saying my whole life passed before me. And actually, it was my lunch, but... it was something else. And Ike, we saw Ike a couple of days later in Algiers. He said, I understand you've been in a couple of bombings. I said, yeah, it's not my racket. He said, well, don't worry about it here. He said, hell, we haven't had a bombing here for 4 months, And that night, about 3 o'clock, wow, I got up, and Pepper's knocking on my door. He said, hey, get Francis Langford, this is it. And I got it. We went down in the wine cellar of the Letty Hotel, which they were using for a bomb shelter. And I'm sitting there, with no seatbelt, just sitting there. And they're going boom, 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 boom. And Stubby K walked into the room, which made the whole thing. We didn't even know he was in the country, What the hell are you doing here? Well, I'm with the unit, too. Where do you sit? Right there, buddy. And the whole I'll let you. And the thing finished after about an hour and a half, it was all clear. And we went upstairs, and Quentin Reynolds, we'd met them the day before, and Clark Lee and H.R. Knickerbocker and Steinbeck, went to their room to talk about the thing. They never got out of bed. They slept through the whole thing. I said, wait a minute, you don't get up for a bombing? He said, what's the difference? If you're going to die, die in bed. So I'll know if we ever have another war. That's stay in your Sealy.
Of course, a wine cellar isn't a bad place to be during a bombing either.
No, not at all, because the whole hotel lands on you like that. Boom. And at the Undertakers, they slip you under the door, Number 5.
They'd mail you home. Well, we'll take a short break, then we're going to have some outtakes. Here's the Sunbeam Shave Master, Shaver and Groomer. This really looks like a fascinating book, The Last Christmas Show, by Bob Hope, as told Mr. Pete Martin. Big book, too.
Yeah, it's a heavy kid.
Big book. Well, you've had a remarkable career. Who's on your special tomorrow night?
We have the Associated Press All-American football team and Dean Martin, and we're doing Airport 76, you know.
Airport 76.
Wouldn't you like to fly with him?
Dean is the
Did
pilot?
a great sketch where he drinks all the fuel and then we try to take off. And we have Olivia St. John, very beautiful gal, a great singer, and Diane Cannon, who brings it all with her, and who else? We have Singing Angels. That's it.
It sounds like a good show. Now, we have some outtakes
We follow
here.
Bing.
Follow Bing and his family,
He
right?
always does the warm-up for us. No, he's fun.
Every time Bob comes on, he usually brings the outtakes. These are things you will not see on the show. These are the goofs, the things that went wrong in rehearsal or miscues or what have you. And they're funny. I don't know what we're going to see tonight. So watch the monitor here in the studio. Bob, you want to roll the film. Here's a little preview of what you won't see.
I gather your marriage was a disaster?
A disaster? Have you seen Earthquake? Oh. And that was just the honeymoon.
Hey, you made a half-hour play out of it. I like that. Hey, I know what you mean. I was married to a woman whose idea of a fun evening was to go down to the supermarket and squeeze the honey melon.
Tell me about your wife. Was she romantic?
Very. Every night she watched Johnny Carson by candlelight.
But he goes off at 1 o'clock.
I know, that's when she got her headache. She used more Excedrin than Telly Savalas' singing teacher. Are you going to give an introduction from you? Let me hear it. Oh, that's
that's
sweet. What
terrific.
time do they bring the body in? What the hell is that? What is that?
I thought we were.
I just got to look at myself. I look like Helen Reddy for sure. Look like, I
Well, let's just have an intimate little dinner. Just the two of us, huh?
Yeah. Well, there's always the Charlton Hestons.
Oh, no, dear. I mean, Hess is so disaster prone. Let's just
I
have
never
an
thought that
intimate...
would happen to Moses. I was trying to save it.
Why don't we just have...
Hey, I was hoping you'd say that. You think that'll fit?
Are you turning chicken?
Me, a man who's been in 5... Me?
Are you turning chicken?
I think so. So much I want to see. I want to see the sun come up over Pismo Beach. And I want to walk across the Golden Gate Bridge just once more before the Japanese buy it.
Did you want to see Rhoda's sister get married?
You dirty thief! I try to do it big for you.
Go ahead. You want to do that line?
No, it's fine. You can have
Hey,
it.
Oh, that was beautiful. If we ever beat this rap, will you do me a favor?
Sure what? Go on your roast?
Yeah. And after the roast, go take some acting lessons.
That's this coming Sunday. That's this coming Sunday night following Bing's special on NBC. Those are funny. Funny. Now you're off for Las Cruces, New Mexico?
Las Cruces, New Mexico.
For a scholarship benefit?
Why aren't you there? Yeah.
Then you're gonna
for the
be-
scholarship fund. We got Barbara McNair.
That's
and,
great.
Miss New Mexico and all that.
I think you
want to
in
go?
I think
Doc?
you inadvertently when you said Diane Carroll. Diane Cannon, you meant to call her.
Diane, what did I say?
Yeah. I think you said Diane Carroll.
You're
before we
kidding.
went into there.
Olivia Newton-John, not
Yeah.
Olivia St. John.
Olivia.
I said Olivia St. John?
Yeah, Olivia
I gotta go back to
Newton-John.
managers, you know? I'm just on a loan out here. Isn't that murder? I said that? Yeah. God,
I thought you said, maybe I misunderstood. I thought you said Diane
I'm gonna
Carroll.
lay down a little bit.
Well, you travel. It's the time zone. You left. You were on the Today Show in New York today?
I love it.
You got on a plane or yesterday morning?
Yeah.
All right. You going to be home for Christmas? This
Sure
year?
am. Yep.
Great. Thanks for coming.
Right. Great to see
Anytime.
you.
Thank you. Right back. Steve Landesberg is here, and Adrienne Barbeau will join us right after this. Steve Landesberg is here tonight. He can be seen in the last few episodes of the Paul Sand Show. He'll be with Don Rickles on his special in January. He's totally off the wall, this man. Would you welcome Steve Landesberg?
Thank you, Grindling. That's his name, the Dr. Grindling. Most of the people that are watching the show now are probably watching the news. Now, I'm a big news watcher because the whole world comes on the news. I mean, you see everything. My favorite thing on the news, though, is sports. And this is a big year in sports for firsts. This year in pro football, you got the first black quarterback. And next year, the baseball season, you're going to have the first black manager. I'm looking for the first Jewish duck hunter. Because you know, duck hunters usually like, hey, lamb over there in the brush and yells, Millet over there got the mallet and everything. Who's that stranger coming up there? Who's that stranger? Oh, that's that Jew duck hunter. Well, what's going on, boys? What are you using, 22s? How's the vintage? Love those different sounds. You know what's fascinating? You watch the news, and it never goes away. Prejudice has been with us from the year one. And it always happens the same way. Little kids beat up other little kids in neighborhoods, and then when they get older, they get married. They beat up the groups, then they marry the groups. It happens in big cities. There's a lot of that on the Texas-Mexican border. People are fighting, then one day it's over. Juanita, I would like you to be the future Mrs. Beauregard Harper. Because you understand, my darling, you won't be allowed to leave your room. I have certain political ambitions. But I want to go shopping. You know what my favorite news item is? This is going to happen very shortly. Very shortly. It happens every 6 months or so. Every 6 months or so, another Japanese soldier comes out of the jungle. Last guy was in the jungle for 29 years, didn't know the war was over. Suddenly came out of the jungle one day, oh, I overslept. He was sent in on an intelligence mission. That's it, 29 years in the jungle, the guy didn't know the war was over. That's not that unusual. There are people in the valley that don't know the war was over. I love the sound of that language. I sometimes watch Japanese television without knowing what the hell they're talking about, but I love to listen to it, and I feel stupid. I really feel like an idiot because I don't understand a word of it, and I know there's a little child in Japan who, listening to his father, understands everything the man says. I mean, I know there's a kid right now in Japan listening to his dad. Daddy. I'll tell you what makes me feel dumber than that. This makes me feel dumber. There's a little animal in Japan, a doggy. A dumb doggy will understand Japanese. I know there's a dog who is listening right now to Hama soyomo wa shamaya. Woof, woof, shimada. I feel retarded. You know what's great you watch the news, you watch every country in the world, and I just recently watched the English elections. They have elections every week. And what's interesting, it's usually the same two guys. And they campaign much differently than we do. They don't speak about issues at all. They don't bother with issues. All they do is sling mud. Their whole campaign is, my distinguished and esteemed opponent, Lord Worcestershire, shares his chambers with a goat. I wonder, do you know? Of course you don't know. I don't even know. Do you know that Sweden has one of the highest suicide rates in the world? Now, I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the climate. It's cold, damp climate. If you've ever been to an Ingmar Bergman movie, they can be very depressing. But they just seem to do it over there for no reason. I mean, a man comes home from work, he's very happy. Zippity-doo-dah! What's for supper, Snookums? Asparagus?
Yeah, you have a strange, funny head working there.
Thank you, Prince of Burbank.
Are you ensconced now in California permanently?
I guess I've been here for like 2 years, and you know, I feel a little bit of New York because everybody's out here now. I work at the Comedy Store in Hollywood, and I walk in the Comedy Store, and the same guys I work with in New York, Jimmy Walker, Freddie Prinze, Gabe Kaplan, David Brenner, we all work the same. It's the same thing, same guys. Because Brenner still doesn't live here.
No.
He doesn't live here, but he always seems to be out here to do the Carson show.
Right.
I think he does more Carson shows than...
I think he's the last holdout. Oh. He's the last holdout. I don't think he will ever really become a Californian.
If you never know. California is... you know what I like out here that... well, you know, liars. Everybody knows guys that lie. And the biggest lies that men have always told have always been about sex and women. Now, out in Hollywood, you got guys tell you stories out here, they're better because they got names to drop. There are movie stars out in television. So when a guy tells you a story out here, it's a beauty. You know, it's like, she's up for an Oscar, eh? I gave her an Academy Award one night. I gave her an Oscar. Yeah, I met her over there in that, what was the all-night supermarket, Ralph's? No, I didn't go home with her. Did it right there in frozen food. Everything out here is show business, though. Because like I said, I'm at the Comedy Store. Everybody's in show. What do you hear? I haven't seen guys for 2 years, but they keep coming out because the business is out here, and you can't speak to people because all they do is talk about show business. And it's like, you know, you haven't seen. I say, hey, man, I haven't seen you for. How you doing? 2 years I haven't seen. I just did a Kojak. Well, that's terrific. I'm great. Well, how's your mom? How's mother? Mom's doing Columbo. And now...
Just shot a pilot.
I just did the pilot with Rickles. I did a pilot with Rickles, and if he doesn't get it on, I heard that Mr. Scandori, his manager, Joseph Scandori, has bought him a network in Milan.
I could wipe out another country, huh? Let me take a break here. No matter what you're doing, it's always nice to stop and have a nice, brisk cup of Lipton tea. Adrienne Barbeau is with us tonight. She's a fine actress and won a Tony nomination for the Broadway musical Grease, and she's probably most familiar to viewers as Maud's daughter in the television show. Would you welcome Adrienne Barbeau? You look pretty tonight.
Thank you.
That's an awfully good show, that television show, you know it? Maud really is.
We're doing better
Yeah.
this year than we have done all in the last two. We were number 2 one
Yeah.
week and number 4, and we're having a good time.
Good cast of people, and they play well together. So, what have you been up to besides that? Do you have any time to do anything else professionally besides that show?
Oh, I love to come here, and I've been
Yeah.
doing some game shows, but that's about it. You know, we go on hiatus in March, and then maybe I'd like to do something.
March, then you're
March
through
to
all
June.
through the summer?
That's it. It's strange to be here with Richard because I'm going to a screening of Camelot tomorrow night.
You are?
Yes. I never saw it, and I have a friend who loves that film, and so we're going to see it.
Super in it. Have you done your Christmas shopping yet or anything?
My Christmas shopping is all done.
You're kidding.
No, I'm a person that starts thinking about things in August, you know. I mean, I start listening to what people want, just hints that they're dropping, and then I love to shop.
I say that every year to myself. I'm going to start next year, maybe November, October, Christmas shopping. And I got to get cracking next week, but I never do it.
Mine's all done. I go to Pasadena to shop. I order things from New York, and I get strange Christmas gifts in return.
Like what?
Well,
Do fans send you gifts?
no, I haven't received anything from fans, but lovers give me very strange Christmas gifts.
Well, let's explore that.
Fire
a little bit.
extinguishers.
There seems to be an opening for a little conversation right there.
Fire extinguishers.
You get fire
I
extinguishers?
got a fire extinguisher. I got flares for my car. I got a necklace that had St. Christopher on one side and a Star of David on the other. And this year I'm getting a set of World Book encyclopedias.
That's from the Phi Beta Kappa lover I said. No. When you say lovers, you mean lovers?
More than one, yeah.
I'll be doggone.
Well, what would I say? It's strange, Johnny, because boyfriend is a very weird word. I mean, I don't relate to that very much. You know, boyfriend seems like a boyfriend. It seems like something young or something. And I used to say the man that I'm seeing, and that's very strange. And
Yeah,
what are you
it's
going to
kind of
say?
euphemistic, isn't it? Yeah. So you just say out and out
Lovers.
lovers.
Yeah, they are.
Well, let's explore this a little further.
Academy Award. Oh no.
In other words, you're not currently going with just somebody that's serious. It's really none of my business anyway. But as long as you're here,
No, it's not. But I'm grinning a lot more than I was last time.
yes, you are. You seem much happier, fulfilled.
I'm having a lovely time. I really am.
Yeah.
And the
Can I ask you a
strength.
question?
Yes.
Why the fire extinguisher? Is there any particular reason for that?
Well, I would like to think it had to do with something about me, but I don't know, Rich. No, I.
You get-
To explore that,
It
John?
gets
You
hot.
get the. You get the analogy there. You see.
I used to have a boss who was very. I can't help but think of it now because he'd always come up to me in the morning and he'd go, "Getting much?"
What did you do for a living?
I was a hustler. No, actually, that kind of, you know.
Yeah. Where are you from again? I forgot. Where'd you grow up?
I'm from Northern California, all over California, Fresno and Sacramento and Stockton.
Yeah.
But I spent 8 years in New York and feel like I grew up there.
Yeah. What do you give for Christmas? You get fire extinguishers, you said, and encyclopedias. What do you give, say, for example, to your lovers?
I gave the state of Vermont.
State of Vermont. Well, they can probably exchange it for something they want. Probably get Rhode Island thrown in. You know, you can make a deal on that.
I'm giving a very weird gift this year, but I can't tell because he might be watching.
Well, he doesn't know who, though.
Oh. No, there's only one. There's
Oh, there's
only
only
one
one.
at a time, John. I mean, you know, they may come and go, but there's only one at a time. And I'm not going to tell you.
What's the goofiest gift you've ever given? You give strange things or practical things?
No, I pretty much give what I think people would want to receive, you know, and I really do listen. Like Conrad Bain, who plays the doctor on our show, came to my house several months ago, and I'm sure he's asleep tonight, so I don't think it'll matter. He goes to bed very early.
Yeah.
And admired something in the house that I had just purchased, and I thought, oh, wow, okay. And I put it away, and I wrapped it up, and I never touched it. And I thought, that's for him, because he admired it, and I had never touched it. So.
You give things to people
Only
that they
that.
admire?
That was, yes, yeah.
While you all make up your own joke, we'll move along here. What do you want for Christmas, Steve? Anything in particular?
Yeah, I'd like a new show.
Dear Santa.
Pilot. I want to go up for a pilot.
Pilot.
Everybody in this town is always doing a pilot. Every time you see somebody, they say, what are you doing? I got a pilot deal. Pilot. I got a pilot, MGM, pilot. They want to have a beer? So, no beer, pilot. All I want's a pilot. Pilot. I swear to God, a guy came up in the street, out of an alley. Said, hey, man, you spare some change? I pay it back next week. I'm doing the pilot.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
And,
Merry Christmas.
Same to you if we don't see you then. Steve, come back with us soon again, will you?
Thank you.
And Richard, thanks for being here. The album is The Prophet.
Thank you.
By Mr. Richard Harris. And tomorrow night we have Rich Little, Bobby Vinton, Cornell University astronomer Carl Sagan, and Cloris Leachman will be here. Thank you. Good night. I'm humbled by that applause.